Hello, everybody. We got a few people waiting already. That's good. I'm Scott. That's Tyler. We need to, I think, bring this down just a little bit because you shrunk.
I don't sit up that straight.
Hey, welcome to the live stream. We're going to take a bunch of questions tonight. One thing is if you type a question, if you could please do it in all capital letters, that will make our life a lot easier in identifying the questions.
Yeah, it'd make it a lot easier for me to find him as we go.
So we're gonna do this chat tonight in two parts. We'll do the first half of it on my channel, and then halfway through, we're gonna switch over to Tyler's channel and let him do the live stream. We'll finish up over there on his. So if you don't already subscribe to him, it's Indiana Diesel, and we'll finish that over there. But we'll do probably how long are we gonna do this tonight?
I don't know. I don't have anything to do.
Okay, so maybe like 2 hours. Maybe like an hour on mine and an hour on yours. You wanna do that, or is that too long?
That's fine.
Okay, that's probably the plan. Hey, there's Stan. Hello. Hey, everybody notice Tyler's shirt that he's got on? He's got the hey, Lance. Lance probably isn't watching tonight because he said we're up against the VMAs, and he lives in Nashville, so you know.
Picture down this TV in the bottom corner, not paying attention.
Can you hear us okay? Everything coming through good? I'm going to take that as a yes. I hadn't heard.
I haven't read a comment yet where anyone has said yes. If you guys notice me looking down, I'm reading comments over here.
I got cough. Great. I'll probably take a drink too in a second. First thing, we're going to talk about some upcoming projects. So Sage coming up.
He's already in the comments too. He's here.
Oh, is he here?
Yeah.
All right.
He said bring the suntan lotion to Belpre.
Yeah, I hope it's sunny and warm there. Yeah. And we just had a super chat already pop up in there.
For the swear jar, $5 from the start.
I almost said something
from
like
William
that.
Oswald. Thank you.
You might want to save that swear jar money for when we get on Tyler's channel.
Act like I'm the worst one here.
On your channel, I bet you are. I bet you have more bad words than mine.
I can pretty much guarantee it.
So anyways, we're going to get over to Sage's, and when are we going? Monday?
I believe so. I believe it's
Yeah,
Monday.
Monday we'll be there. And finish up with him hopefully Tuesday, right, Sage? Is that what you're hoping?
I've got another super chat here from Miller Medium.
I didn't even. Do we acknowledge who was the first super chat?
Yes, we did.
Okay, I'm sorry I missed that.
If a person has a fully seated bus, but it is used for private use only, does the operator need a commercial license?
And who's asking this question?
Miller Medium.
Okay, I do not know the answer to that. I do not think you do for a private vehicle.
If it's private, not for hire use, that's usually the exemption to get around things in most states. Here in Indiana, I can go buy a semi tomorrow, put private, not for hire, and I don't need a CDL to operate it if I'm using it for myself for non-commercial use. You are going to want to check your local state, though. That changes a lot based off of where you are.
I saw somebody mention on there about Phil dropping the F-bombs on my channel. Yeah, Phil needs a swear jar. Hey, Phil has his own YouTube channel now that he's just starting, and I'll tell you his name right now if you want to write it down. It's Bus Old Man Phil, and you can search for that later. So Bus Old Man Phil. And he's got a couple videos. I think he's got like 4 videos up there right now. So we're going to try to continue to help him out with that as he goes, but they're not really long videos, but you don't want to stop the live stream to go watch them now, but you can go check that out. So Bus Old Man Phil, if you search for that, you'll find his channel. So anyways, we're going to Sage's. We're going to finish up on that silver sides. Pretty much so just got to put the cooling system back in it, and then we're doing some work on the brakes and a few other systems on it. I'm anticipating a day or two of labor, hopefully, to get everything done if everything goes to plan. But you never know how that goes. It's an old bus, so. And then from Sage's, what's happening? Are you driving there?
I'm riding with you guys there, and I think I'm taking his truck
That's
and
what he's
following
doing.
him back.
So Tyler's going to ride in the bus with us out there, and then he'll follow, because Sage is driving there also. So Sage will drive his bus back to Indy, and Tyler's going to follow him back to Indy. So that alone could be a fun adventure.
And then I'm going to meet you guys down in Nashville.
Yep. So then Kelly and I will then drive down to Nashville, Tennessee. Well, Franklin, Tennessee, to be precise.
Close enough.
We're going to be down at Bill's place working on finishing up Lance's bus, that V730, which everything's just about done on it. So probably like a day's worth of work to get some brakes and some other stuff done. And then get that bus out on a test drive with the new transmission that's in it, the new automatic that we upgraded it to. Again, we just didn't have time to finish that job when we were there. But all the rest of the parts have been wrangled up and everything's going. Meanwhile, Lance did you see the picture I posted of the Iron Man, the MC5 of Lance's? Is back from the paint shop and it's polished up. It's on our community page. There's a picture of it. It looks amazing.
The MC5 that we pulled the generator out of when we were there?
Yes, and the new generator will be there when we show up. So we'll have the new generator to go in there. Yeah, the bus just looks amazing if you haven't seen it. So
I'm excited to see it. I like that bus.
Again, if you're asking any questions tonight, make sure you please do them in all capital letters, like you're yelling at us. It just makes it easier for us to see them and identify them in here. And if you were just joining us, we're going to do the first hour of the chat here on my channel, and then the second half of the chat, we're going to clip over to Tyler's Indiana Diesel, and we'll do an hour-long chat over there to finish up on stuff. And we got lots of neat things to talk about too. Besides Lance's, after we're done with Lance's, then I think Kelly is taking the car and coming back to Indy.
I believe so.
And then Tyler and I are going to venture off together to North Carolina. And I know before we said we were going to Benson, North Carolina, but that was a total mistake. We're not going to be in Benson. That was another town that I was at this summer. We're going to be in Albemarle. Albemarle?
I don't know why you're asking me. I was perfectly happy accepting when you said we were going to Benson. I don't know where I'm going.
So we'll be in Albemarle. I think that's the name of it. That's in North Carolina.
We'll show it on the map when we get there.
Yeah. So we're going to be in that area. We're rebuilding is it 8V92? T in a Wanderlodge, so Bluebird chassis. Super nice bus. I did a teardown on it earlier this year, and it was just going to be Tyler going back to do the rebuild, but since my schedule got screwed up and I'm not going to head to California before Christmas, I'm going to do it right after Christmas. That just left me some extra time to get that in there. So we're going to go out there and do that rebuild. Pretty much everything should be ready to go for it. I've already partially disassembled it and identified what it needed, and he's ordered the parts and had the heads redone, and yeah, shouldn't be too hard of a job. About a week long, I think we're planning on being there, something like that.
Yeah.
And then while we're in North Carolina, we might pick up a few other jobs. Or do you have to be back soon, or what is your schedule?
No.
As long as you're making money on the road, you're okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So
I have nothing that says I have to be back at any point in time.
So I've worked out a few other things that I haven't mentioned to him yet that he's finding out about now, if it works into the schedule. So one is while we're in North Carolina, I've located a Silver Sides that a friend of mine has that he's willing to sell me to help get it to Tyler. So if Tyler's interested in the bus, we're going to go look at it and see about getting the Silver Sides bus for Tyler. And then if that's possible, since you won't have a vehicle to drive, if we can drive that thing out of there, we can drive a Silver Sides bus home. But instead of coming home, we're going to be in Gene Russell's area, and I have an open invitation to visit Gene, and he said he would help me with power steering on my bus. So maybe we could do the power steering upgrade on my bus.
So it's going to be a weird complaint about this entire trip.
Okay.
The only thing I have to say is I don't own enough clothes to make it that entire distance. We're going to stop at Walmart. I don't have enough work clothes to make it that far, but I'm still in.
Walmart's got some good deals. You get some I get my work shirts there. Like this long sleeve shirt right here, Walmart is like $4.99 or something like that.
Oh, that or the Roll King $4 pocket tees.
Yes.
I have a bunch
But I like the long sleeve shirts. I think we're going to want long sleeve. North Carolina doesn't get terribly cold. I think it's going to be in the 40s and the 50s the whole time that we're there probably.
I mean, I was wearing shorts up till 2 days ago.
Yeah. Do you have shorts on now?
No. I did before I left my house.
Anyway, so yeah, if we do that, upgrading my bus to power steering is major thing on my list of things I want to get done on my bus. So that's the number one. That's probably the biggest thing stopping Kelly from driving the bus is not having power steering. But it wipes me out. I mean, last time I was at Lance's house, I had to do a 12-point turn. So it was very much so like Austin Powers in the golf cart thing. You remember that little scene where you back and forth ding, 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 ding. It was like that.
Was it worse than my white truck when it didn't have power steering?
Yeah, oh gosh.
I drove that for 4 months like that because I was too lazy to get power steering pump warranted.
It was a workout. I was dying in there, and then I was sweating, and it was rough. It's hard. So I want to get that upgraded to power steering.
I'm in.
And then if we pick up a few other jobs in that area, we will do that. If there's somebody looking for a couple things, maybe we can do that, make some more money while we're out there before we get home. We're going to obviously be on the road for Thanksgiving, so
I think we have to be back before Christmas or we might be killed.
We must be back before Christmas. That is for sure. But yeah, I got a few other jobs. People that want me. In Ohio, Mark also has a
The 4104?
4104.
Yeah, I talked to him about that. It's been sitting for 28 years and it's no longer in indoor storage. It's outside. So that's going to be really weather dependent, I think, because 28 years of sitting would probably be tearing into it probably as far as we were into Sage's bus.
I'm not against that. We'll see how it goes. It'll be fun.
Depending on what the temperature is, I might be against it. If it's 0 with the wind chill of negative, it sucks to be outside right now. I don't want to touch it.
I remember rebuilding an engine outside with you.
Yeah, I remember getting 0 degree 40 weight oil dripped in my hair as I had to lay under it.
We set up a tarp over the bus, and we had the torpedo heater out there.
I don't know how we didn't set that little lean-to that we made on fire.
And then we started the bus with no exhaust manifolds on it, right next to the house under that tarp. It was the loudest, like, because it was a brick garage there that we
might
had.
be why I have hearing damage too.
Yeah, it was so loud because it was just right there. The end, the open header was like, I don't know, 4 feet from that brick wall.
Yeah.
And it was just so loud under there. I remember that. I thinking, oh my gosh, people a mile away heard that thing fire up.
I mean, when we did your V1 screamer pipe on your bus, you could hear it over a mile away.
Yeah, well, that was fun. The exhaust still sounds really cool, especially when I pass somebody. And I love the fact that the exhaust comes out the right side, because as I'm passing them on their right side, you just hear this go right by them. It gets louder and louder. It's awesome. Do we want to start getting to some questions, and then we'll talk a little bit
we
more
have a
about
super
this
chat
stuff.
here first.
Oh.
It's from maybe me. There's nothing they posted though. Just $1.
Oh, hey, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, appreciate that.
You can always, if you post a comment, I see your name, I'll make sure I shout it out.
Again, if you have questions, try to do them in all caps. That'll make them stand out easier as he scrolls
God,
through
there's
here.
a lot of them.
Did we skip more super chats?
No.
Did we have that super chat?
We already went to that. I'm going
Okay.
back to the first capital message.
Okay.
From Craig Reed, says he sent you an email about an HT air filter he has for use on Lynnie. If you could try to find it and respond to him.
Okay. I will search my emails. Again, email is probably not the best way to get a hold of me because I literally get 1,000 emails in a day, and they all get kind of lost in there. I don't know what I have right now, but okay. Yeah, I'll look for that. Thank you if you have that. Take my drink.
What do you have to lean away for it?
I didn't want to look stupid, but I think it looks more stupid.
Did you brainstorm any more about the fuel problem? I assume they're talking about the gelling issue you're having on your bus.
Or they're talking about the 4103, one or the other. I can answer them both.
Okay.
My bus, obviously, since we just got home yesterday, we haven't talked about this. We had a fuel starvation issue. Driving on the interstate, 72 mile an hour. Speed limit was 70. I was going 70 miles an hour on the interstate, and a semi was just passing me, and I felt this little hiccup. It was a half a second long, and it was just like, that was really weird. It was not even a half a second long, just a loss of power. I didn't lose any speed. I just felt the engine back off for a second. It was just slight hesitation for half of a second. And if you've ever run out of fuel, you know that feeling. I was like, oh my gosh, I think I'm running out of fuel. And then everything was fine. And I'm like, you know what? It could have just been the governor backing off. Like the pressure wave from that truck passing me pushed me a little faster. The governor dialed back the fuel a little bit. So I started to sell myself on that's probably what happened instead. Because I should have had like another 400 miles in range to go. So I can't be out of fuel. I got 400 miles in range. And then I immediately think, you know, I have 400 miles in range because I'm pumping more fuel. Once we go 300 miles and I flip a switch and it transfers fuel from my auxiliary tank. I have a 40-gallon auxiliary tank in the back. I flip a switch and it transfers that fuel into my primary tank. And that's what we go off of. And I started thinking, you know what? That primary tank has been cold. It's 0. We started out, it was 5 degrees. And by midday, it was like 12, or I think it got up to 15. But with the wind chill and everything flying, down the road, all that stuff was cold. So I started thinking, you know what? Maybe that transfer pump line is gelled up, and maybe that transfer pump didn't transfer any fuel. And about 4 or 5 minutes later, I felt it immediately losing. I told Kelly, I started thinking about, she started looking up where fuel stations were. There was one that was like right at, I could have had to just dive off, and I'm like, it's probably not at cylinder power, it's fine. So we went, and then it started losing power. Then I'm down to like 35, 40 mile an hour on the interstate. We're going to the next exit where there was a fuel station. I go to pull off, and if you watch yesterday's video, you'll hear the whole story on that. But it turned out that's what it was. That tank is completely filled, and the pump was pumping. It was clicking at least, but nothing was going through it. So I assume that the fuel was just gelled in it.
So, two things. Does your bus have any type of fuel tank heaters in it? Does it run a coolant passage through it or anything like that, or is it just use return fuel?
It just uses the return fuel.
So if
And
you're
there's
not
another-
running that tank, there's no return fuel
that's
going
correct.
back to it.
Yeah, that's why those lines I assume got gelled up.
The entire
And I had
tank's probably
just
gelled.
filled that tank in Minnesota that morning, and I'd filled it on the trip when we went up to northern Minnesota. So it had been filled twice in Minnesota in November. So if they're not selling winterized fuel in November in Minnesota, then they're SOBs. But I assume it has to be a winter grade fuel, but that doesn't mean that it is. And both times we're at truck stop pumps, so it's not like I went to like Walmart or something like that. So
We have a super sticker from Maybe Me.
yeah, I didn't even know you could do that.
Yes.
How cool is that? That's my first super sticker that I've ever seen.
All right, let me go back up to where I was in the question so you can continue.
Go ahead. So if that's what the question was. Otherwise, if you're talking about the 4103, I have no clue. Phil's gonna. No, we're both coughing. Phil is gonna go through and replace the lines from the pickup tube all the way to the back, and that'll be once that's done. Then we know that is getting some air. I just don't think that is all of the air that's coming into the system. There's no way it is, because if you saw that last video, there was like tons of air shooting through that when we got through there.
You got another sticker.
Hey, oh, is that the Genie? Is that what it is? I can't see what it is.
That's Two Feathers RV.
Oh, no, I know, but what is the actual sticker? Oh, I dropped my glasses earlier. I can't see anything.
Why did you drop them?
I don't know.
There's a table in front of you for your drinks to
They
sit on.
fell.
I'll scroll back to it.
All right, let's see if I can
Well,
pull
here, yeah, do it on there because
Oh, no, it's a little, I don't know what he is. He's offering us coffee? Thank you. That's cool.
I said, if I move right now, it's going to change where I am with the stuff.
All right, so let's try to get to another question.
Are we going to get up to the Northeast next year?
Yeah, maybe.
Everyone's just sending us stickers now. Hey, you.
Yes.
It's maybe me again.
Oh.
Where's a good place to buy a Silver Sides and find one?
Very good question. They're out there. That one that Stan just got, that was a really nice bus. I know some other guys that went and looked at it like the week before, but there was some issues with the title. They wanted to take it back to Canada, and they were gonna have to fight some stuff to get with that, because when they did the conversion on it in like '94 or whatever, it got a new title issued to it. Is that being the date of the title? And import into Canada, it really needs to be a classic RV, vintage, to qualify for certain things, and a '94 title would have not allowed them to do that. So
What's their idea of vintage?
I don't know. Yeah, 25.
Importing cars into the U.S. that'd be over 25 years. It'd be good here.
Yeah.
I don't know what theirs requires.
Yeah, whatever it was, it wasn't. And they have to prove that, like, if it doesn't meet that requirement, it has, like, all the recalls and all that stuff has to be able to be proven that it was done on a vehicle to get imported back in. And there's no kind of history on a 1940s bus.
I don't think recalls were a thing yet.
Well, they were in the 80s and the 90s. And
No, but when that was made,
yeah, I know a guy, Ian from Bus Conversions or busnuts.com here or whatever. He bought a fishbowl in the United States and tried to take it into Canada, and it was from the 90s or 80s, and he ended up having to send it to the scrapyard because he could not get a title for it. He couldn't get the import whatever to go through for Canada because of it. Even though it was manufactured in Canada, sent to the U.S., and then he was trying to get back into Canada and he couldn't do it. It was crazy.
This is why I don't try to take things outside the country.
Yeah.
Someone asked, are we selling the Hey Lance t-shirts? Yes, you can get them on our Teespring right now. And when you watch any of our videos, there's a little merch link for Teespring. If it's
Stand up and show them the whole shirt.
so, Hey Lance, Bus Grease Monkey.
Yeah.
They're available. If you don't see it right under the video, you can click on the link to the Teespring store, and it'll pull up with the rest of the Bus Grease Monkey merch.
Some guy was a real jerk on the channel yesterday, and he's like, I thought your channel was really cool, and then I now see that you're selling merch. So, and he was like, boo, or whatever. And I was like, well, you know what? That's crazy, because people wanted stuff. They like following our channel, and it's something fun for us
Usually
to
when
do,
we make
so.
merch, it's because somebody tells us they want to see it. And
Yes.
that's why we take the time to make it and design it.
So anyways, back up the question about where to find a Silver Sides. A couple of the groups that I mention all the time, the Facebook groups, Bus Conversions for Sale, Craig's Bus Sales. It's all Craigslist listings from all over the country. Those are good places to keep an eye out. If you join the Bus Grease Monkey forum, there's a bunch of guys on there that are also sharing when they find a Silver Sides. There's a lot of people looking for them, and
I believe I'm also part of a 3751 group.
There is.
You can ask around there. Most people that own silver sides know where there are other silver sides.
Yeah, or ask Sage. Sage knows where there's about a half a dozen of them for sale too, because he went and looked at all of them.
Sage is quickly becoming the Tom of silver sides.
Yes.
All right. When you're driving on the interstate, do you have the pedal to the floor or do you let off some?
I ride the Governor a lot. Yes. That is, I mean, before I had it, the bus, when I first got it, it was like 68 miles an hour was the cruising speed. And 68 is just a little bit too slow. A lot of people, nobody wants to go under the speed limit on the interstate. So I was kind of holding up traffic in that right-hand lane. Contrary to what somebody said tonight in one of my videos that I need to get out of the left lane, I'm only in the left lane when I'm passing or if I'm getting ready to make a left-hand turn.
You know, a lot of people say I need to get out of the left lane, and I feel like if they saw the speedometer on my truck, they would stop complaining.
Yeah. But of course you're going the speed limit.
Yeah, exactly the speed limit, never faster.
So anyways, yeah, at 70 to 72, I'm a lot more comfortable in a 70 mile an hour speed limit, and I'm not holding up stuff. There's not nearly as many people passing me. Plus at that point, I'm passing more trucks, which a lot of those trucks I was passing anyways at 68, because a lot of them tend to go like 65. But if a truck would get next to me, or I would try to pass a truck that was going 65 and I was doing 68, I would hold up traffic. Sometimes it would take me a mile to complete a pass. So now that doesn't happen. As you see, I fly by them pretty good. So yeah, I ride the Governor a lot, and my engine is spinning way faster than it's supposed to. I'm going probably 2,400 RPM on the highway with that thing.
What's your no load set at?
Like 2,650. But shh, don't tell anybody.
You're allowed to do that when you're the one who builds your own engines.
That's correct. And I said I want to get 100,000 miles out of that rebuild. And everybody's like, oh, you'll get way more than 100,000 miles out of that.
Not
I'm
a
like,
2650.
No, I won't.
All right. Where in California?
We're on like the third question.
Yeah, we're not very good at
We
this.
should probably stop asking questions at this point.
We'll catch up with what we have, and you can ask the rest of them on the next half. Of the
Yeah,
live
when
stream.
we get to Tyler's channel, we're gonna
Unless we
lose
run
them.
out of questions, then we'll just tell you to go around.
I don't see us getting through very many questions.
So where in California will you be?
Southern California is the plan. San Diego, Los Angeles, that area-ish. So way down south like that.
I'm torn. San Diego sounds fun. I've been there a long time, but I also am not the biggest fan of going there.
Yeah.
They don't like any of the things I like, so I try just to stay away.
Maybe I should get some N75s for my California trip.
Can I get you one of the Indiana certified dirty idle stickers for your bus before you leave? 1989 Silver Eagle M20, nice looking bus, 15,000, decent price.
I know not. I'm a Detroit diesel guy, so
It's an Eagle.
yeah. Well, any running driving bus.
It should be a Detroit powered one.
What year is it?
1989.
Yeah, that's newer. I can't tell you. They're all over the place. There's a lot of things. What condition are there adjustments to left on the torch elastic?
That is the big thing on those.
Yeah, that's the huge. Is there rust on this bus? Have you really got on there and looked everywhere for it? If there's, if the side's not perfectly straight and you see rust, you get at it with a little pick hammer and things start falling apart, then the value is going down, 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 down. But,
So whenever I go to look at buying something, I usually take an old flathead screwdriver and just start poking at around the wheel wells, any of the suspension areas, mounting stuff, frame rails. If you can stab a screwdriver through it, walk away or take a lot off the price.
that's correct.
That's usually my bargaining chip.
Yeah.
And then a magnet for Bondo, but that doesn't work as well on buses.
But we've seen Bondo.
Oh, yeah.
Plenty of Bondo.
Oh, yeah.
That's actually, when you see one that's all painted, when it's like aluminum, it's supposed to be aluminum or stainless steel and it's painted, it's that way because somebody Bondoed it usually.
Yeah, not always, but
Usually.
I don't know. Most bus people have all the pictures of when they did their body work and their conversions. So if you can get a hold of that, that'd be a great thing to look at too. All right. What is your thoughts on the brushless Delco Remy 40 SI 250 amp for the silver sides?
I don't even know what that is. Is that the one that was on
Should
that?
be an alternator.
Is that, yeah, well, obviously, but is that the one that was on that gear driven thing that was on the one the other day?
I'm not sure.
I have no idea what that, I'm not real familiar with any of that stuff.
I've never done the conversion on a silver side for anything, so I'm not very familiar.
I went with a Lease Novell on mine, and I'll probably change it to something else, so.
Have you ever seen any 3-cylinder Detroits in any buses? How much do the engines weigh?
Never seen a 3, just a 4.
3s, I think, are
More generators.
like
and
53 series. You'll see them in smaller trucks and stuff, but they're still heavy. I looked up a 453 the other day. Well,
It's okay. They can look it up.
yeah, it was really heavy. I was shocked when I found the weight out because I was considering a 453T swap on a project, and that's a ton of nose weight.
I probably look much less stupid doing that than what I did earlier.
If you go to the power steering, will that tighten up the steering too?
Excuse Tyler's coughing, by the way. He's been coughing a lot.
Yeah, I can't do anything about that right now.
My steering is tight. People are always like, man, look at all that play in that wheel. That shit is tight. Oh, swear jar. My steering is tight. I have like 1 inch of free play on that thing, and that bus is 1947. It may look like you see it moving a little bit more than that, but that's actually inputting on the wheel. Usually there's a crosswind or somebody passing you and is pushing you over, so I'm doing those kinds of inputs on there. My steering is tight. I don't want to hear any more crap about that.
You should see the steering on my shop truck.
Yeah.
That's not.
I've got in buses where there's 10 to 12 inches of free play in the wheel.
I've driven a lot of vehicles that have that. My Apache was that way. Did the pipes make it in your bus? They're PEX, yeah. PEX can expand, I think, 15%, and water expands like 12% when it freezes or something like that. The expansion rate of PEX is more than the expansion of freezing water. The only places that will give are the connections to them, and I believe we used all brass on yours, not the plastic.
They are brass, and the place where I had a failure before was the little plastic bushing that goes from the water pump to the hose out of the water pump. It's a little piece of plastic that came with it. It's like nylon or something, and that broke once before. It had a crack in it. But no, I did actually shot a video today. I just haven't uploaded it yet. I'll probably go into some stuff for tomorrow or the next day. But yeah, the plumbing is fine. Everything pressurized. I turned the water pump on. I waited 5 minutes, and I never heard it do another single little, it makes a noise when it goes. So it didn't lose pressure that whole time. And all the faucets worked. I ran them. Everything seems fine. So I think I got away. I think I dodged a bullet on that one.
Do you want to tease one of your new big upgrades to the bus for tomorrow? Just tell them there's
yeah.
a giant white piece of steel back there.
Yeah, we got a new toolbox that we're going to add to the bus tomorrow. So Tyler will be helping me install that. It's a brand new toolbox that we're going to have to take a cutting wheel to and make some modifications to get it in the bus. So thank goodness it's just a Harbor Freight toolbox.
And it's white.
We wanted blue, and then they said, oh, we don't have that. It takes 2 to 10 weeks to order the toolbox. And I don't really have 2 to 10 weeks to wait for it.
The sad part is I've custom ordered a toolbox from Mac before with custom drawer setups and custom colors, and it was like 4 weeks. From the time I ordered it to the time my box got delivered.
So
Harbor Freight can't do it with an off-the-shelf one.
It's basically what is the tool cart that we won't put the legs on it and then modify it to fit in my bag.
Kind of like the last one, but not on the slide this time.
Yeah, and then I bought some more tools, of course. I went to get some Icon stuff, but they had a really bad selection of Icon tools there today.
Well, they're on sale right now, and I'm betting people are stocking up for Christmas.
Yeah.
Have you looked at the latest weather? It's cold down south.
Yeah, but it's going to be nicer next week. We should be in the 40s and 50s while we're at Sage, and then at Lance's we'll be in a shop, so that really won't matter much. We can run a heater in there and that kind of stuff. And then North Carolina doesn't usually get real cold. So
I think I've only been to North Carolina once, and that's when we got your bus. Are all the silver sides coming from North Carolina?
all the ones apparently that our family might own are.
Will you buy a damn plasma cutter? I will, at some point. It's on the list.
Yeah, I mean, what am I going to use it for? And then how much more?
On the road, the torches work just fine for what we do. The plasma cutter takes up space, weight, and it takes a lot of power. And a lot of time we don't have the power to do it there. I mean, I know you can get 110 and dual voltage setups, but to really use a plasma cutter for anything we would do, we'd want a nice big one, and it'd be best to use in shop.
Yeah, and a lot of my clients can have stuff like that too, or they have a friend who has one or something like that. Everybody always has great suggestions for me to carry certain tools, but I'm really limited on my weight and everything that I can carry in there, space. How often am I going to use something? Is it worth it for me to carry it? It's just not possible. I travel thousands of miles, and I'm not carrying everything all over the earth to get there. Some of it they can buy, or we can source, or we can find something else. I did, however, just get, maybe I should save it for my video because I shot it, that Detroit Diesel toolkit.
Oh, I forgot you bought that.
Yeah, for
memory.
For doing the injector tubes. So I've got all that stuff that Joe used. to set the injector protrusions and ream them, and I got that Kentmore tool set. So that's gonna get added to the bus because I could use that all the time. Sorry.
I think we need 2 sets now. Is your water pump drooling now after that freeze? Every single water pump I've ever had has failed shortly after freezing.
I don't think the water pump froze. I think the freeze was somewhere else in there. But I didn't open the bay to see it. I didn't see water coming out of it. I looked at it when I had the door open. It wasn't frozen. I just think a line after the water pump or something like that froze.
In the process of digging a 5840-104 out of the woods, is there a Schrader valve I can use to raise the body to start checking for the brakes and etc.? There should be in the service compartment under the driver footwell.
If not, there's a place you can put a 1/4-inch fitting in somewhere. You can take a plug out of the tank.
It should be a quick connect for an air hose.
Yeah. That's not factory, but everybody adds those. So there's usually one there, or there's one in the back on the muffler, which the muffler is it's the first thing that the air compressor discharge hose goes to. It's a silver kind of a funky tube, and there's a drain in the bottom of it. And that thing, usually people will hook one on there or after that too. There's a check valve after it, so it's a good spot to add air. But either of those places, or you can just plumb, there's a lot of places where you can take the fitting out of the bottom of a tank and add an air valve for right now, just to temporarily add it up, like an air chuck.
Heat the bay to resolve your freezing issue. What was your resolution?
Well, the bay is already heated, but it just couldn't do 5-degree weather, 70 miles an hour. Because I have my batteries in that bay as well, so I do have some ventilation in that. So the lead acid we have 1,500 amp hours of lead acid batteries on the bus. And when I'm charging them, lead acid batteries produce hydrogen gas as a byproduct of that. And if you don't have it ventilated, it could blow up. So I have it ventilated. So even though I have heater in the bay, there is some air that gets in and out. I don't have the bay doors sealed completely tight because of that too. I want a little bit more air to get in and out from that. The heater did good. It kept the bay pretty close to 32 degrees when it was 5 degrees outside. It's just for a little while it dropped down to 20, like down to 28 for about a half hour. And then most of the day we were able to keep it above 32 and it still froze. So parts of it were probably a little bit below freezing. The majority of it was not. But I'm adding a waterbed heater that's going to go underneath of the big 100-gallon fresh water tank, and that will help to heat that water in the tank to give me this huge thermal mass inside there too. And then the heat duct for the propane furnace is in there as well, which that's what we were using yesterday. And then I've got a little like a household space heater that I'm going to run in there. I didn't have that yesterday. And I think those 3 things, I'm not planning on driving in that cold of weather. I didn't design the bus for that. In the future, I'm getting rid of those lead acid batteries and going to go with some lithium-ion batteries in there. And then I won't have to have the ventilation like that, so I'll be able to seal that bay up even tighter, and then I shouldn't have any issues with that.
My back hurts just thinking about getting those batteries out of there.
Yeah.
Is there any way to put a fuel gauge in Lynnie?
I put a fuel gauge in my last bus, and it was a big pain in the butt, and when I was all said and done, I was like, I really wished I wouldn't have taken the time to do that. I just tried it, I need something, if I put some type of a monitor system that'll tell me when that pump is transferring, when it's actually moving fuel, if I can put a flow meter or something in that line, then I would know that hadn't failed.
To be fair, I think we need a different pump too. You have the world's slowest transfer pump.
It's like 2 gallons, no, sorry, it's like a half a gallon a minute.
Yeah, that's the world's slowest transfer pump.
Well, I got hundreds of miles for it to do its thing. It's okay.
I'm used to turning a transfer pump on at like 20 or 30 gallons a minute and letting it run for a couple minutes and then shutting it off.
Okay, so maybe I'll have to get a bigger pump.
All right. Someone says, "G'day from Australia." That's Kevin.
Thank you for saying that. We can't wait to get to Australia. Kelly and I are gonna make a trip there, and we'll probably end up going to New Zealand while we're over there as well. We'll probably do like 3 weeks or something like that. We don't want to try to cram everything in one quick trip, but we're gonna make it. That's on our list of things.
Someone asked if we're using winter blend diesel. I would really hope that Minnesota has winter blend diesel.
Yeah, I kind of asked and answered that earlier. So rewind, you'll see
that. You may want to wrap your pipes.
They are. I have the black insulation stuff on my pipes.
No. They're talking about the heat wrap wire.
Oh yeah, I was trying to find some that was like 12 volt, and I didn't really see anything when I was looking. Everything.
Everything I've ever done with that stuff's 110.
Yeah, I was hoping to find something like that 12 volt. I also have a big stick-on heater on the side of the tank. I don't have that hooked up right now because I didn't really need it. And I really thought that bay would be okay because I've driven before in like the 20s and it's been completely fine. But apparently 5 is just too much to ask for.
All right. Can you please explain how Jake brakes work?
I don't want to take the time to do that because most people here probably already know that. But if you Google a video for it, it just makes the exhaust valves stay open, so that uses the internal pressure in the engine. It doesn't work nearly as good on a 2-stroke as it does on a 4-stroke.
Sounds good though. Sounds
Yeah.
really good. Is Silversides or any other bus conversion always cheaper than a divorce? I don't know. Buses are pretty expensive. Does Phil's location in Minnesota have a Silversides for sale? I live 20 miles from where they are at.
No, I don't think that they do. But it is Stan's location, not Phil's. Phil's just an employee of Stan's. Seems to be I've heard several people make that comment. So Stan and his brother Dan own Richfield Bus Company and Rochester City Lines, I think are the name of the 2 companies, and then Bus Boys is their collection of the vintage buses. And then Phil is an employee of theirs who used to drive commercially for them as well, and then mechanic and all around does everything for them kind of thing. So you can contact him. He's more about buying buses than selling them. But that doesn't mean that he doesn't know where there's one at or anything too, but he might not want to be bothered a whole lot with people trying to find that out. That might be a bad idea actually, but maybe, if ask the question, maybe he'll answer it in one of the posts. He seems to watch and reply to our videos quite often.
Someone said keep up the great info on the videos and the merchandise.
Thank you.
Someone wants to know if Lance is getting a percentage of his t-shirts.
No. We didn't use his likeness though. We should have put his face on there.
Oh, we had to license that thing.
Yeah.
Hamilton Mechanic says, hey guys.
Lance says, yes, that's a good question.
Aren't you watching something else?
Yeah, well, I thought you were watching the VMAs tonight, Lance. Man, Lance just told me he got he got all that glass replaced on Miss Bud, but he didn't know what the cost was going to be. One of those deals where the guy just did it, and we'll let you know later what it was.
Never do that stuff.
Ouch. Okay.
How did things go in Evelyn?
It went perfect. Did you watch the video? I'm assuming you didn't watch the video. That's a good series.
It's actually one of my favorite videos of his because not only do we get to watch bus rescues, but there was snow and you never see that in one of his videos.
That is true. Lance just said, I kept asking because I know he did. He told me I keep trying to find out what he's going to charge me. And yeah, well, he found out once he was done.
Are you coming East Coast, Virginia Beach?
Not on this trip. We won't. Maybe late summer next year. I'm going to make an East Coast, northeast coast trip too. Where I had some people asking me to come up east, out that way. So
Someone wants to know how much faster did you go when you changed the tire size? How many mile an hour did you increase?
I think I gained 3. Was it 3 miles an hour? I think I got. Yeah. We did the tire size at the same time. We made a little governor adjustment, so I'm not 100% sure what did what, but I'm pretty sure I gained 3 miles an hour.
Chris is in here and wants to know how you like the new exhaust.
It is, the guy that did my exhaust over at Carter's Garage, he did a great job. And he has a great YouTube channel too.
Yeah.
It's Carter's Garage, that's called. Yeah. If you don't subscribe to it, you should. He's always working on lots of different stuff over there.
I went over there stopping the other day and there was a tractor, a pickup, and a car in the shop.
Does he know that we're going to come by and work on my airbags over there?
No, I haven't talked to him about it yet.
Hey, Chris, I might need a little welding on my bus. Is that okay? If you can help me out? So I was getting ready to go to Evelyn. I still can't say that name without sounding like...
Pretend you're Mike Tyson for a minute.
That is. That's funny. So anyways, I noticed my bus was leaning a little bit to the right. So I'm like, oh, my airbags, because I have 2 small helper airbags in the back, and you can probably search my channel for when we did the install on that. And I went to fill up the airbag thinking, oh, the airbag's down, so I'll fill the airbag. I have manual little Schrader valves on them. So I go to fill up the one airbag, and I just hear air leaking out. And I'm like, oh, geez, the airbag blew out or something. So I filled the other bag, and the bus raised up just a little bit, but it made this really weird creaking noise. And I'm like, well, that's not right. So I grab my flashlight, and I lean under there, and the mount for the airbags had broken off where it was welded, and the second airbag was still attached top and bottom, and it was kind of doing its thing, but it was kind of cantilevered the way that it was on there, so it wasn't on how it's supposed to be. And the other airbag was just ejecting air when I was trying to fill it, so I couldn't see it all the way. It's way back on the other side. It wasn't going to hurt anything just leaving it there, so I just let the air out of both bags, and it's on my list now. So I either have a ruptured bag or the airline came out of it, but definitely the mount is broken on there. So I was hoping to get over to Chris's, and
we can order bags.
and if we jack it up over there, get the wheels off it, and if he could weld it better for us, that would be great.
You probably weld it a lot better than us.
Yeah, and
I know we can weld it a lot better than both of us.
Yeah, there is no question that he would do a job. Yeah, and we used a stick welder when we did it, so it wasn't. I really well, it lasted a long time. It's been on there a couple of years, right?
Yeah.
So did good.
But if Chris welds it once, it'll probably never need welded again.
That's correct.
Ever find any old buses in South Florida?
What was the question? I'm so sorry.
Ever find any old buses in South Florida?
Yeah, all the time. I got a couple of rescue videos on there. I saw Kelly's name on there. That's what made me pause for a second.
Yeah, she's on there too.
Okay, thank you. Hello, Kelly. She's not down here, so I didn't know. I was making sure somebody wasn't saying something they weren't supposed to be saying. Yeah, but we find buses all the time there. I got several rescue videos from buses in Florida. Most of Jeffrey's buses, those 4106s, a lot of them came from Florida, and there was a 4104 from Florida that we did, and yeah, there's a bunch of them down there.
Someone is telling me that we're allowed to drink during the blog.
Perfect.
He can, I can't. It's like 20 minutes away from my house right now.
Oh, yeah.
No offense, but I want to be back in my
I
house.
thought they meant water. I didn't.
Oh!
I'm pretty sure I saw.
They might mean water. Sorry, that's my bad.
But there is, yeah, because if you need to take a drink because you're coughing, that's what I assume. Tyler's thinking Crown or Royal Crown or Crown Royal. What is it?
Crown Royal.
not the cola.
Actually, I had to post my community tab the other day asking people's recommendations.
Actually, I think they're begging you to drink so you'll stop coughing. That's what he was doing.
Probably. It doesn't change it.
Was there a super chat that I just saw go by in there that did not get acknowledged?
Scroll back on your phone because I'm way up in the comments right now.
Man, if you did a super chat and I ignored you, I apologize. This is from William Oswald. Go Carter Garage Invasion. Hopefully I didn't skip any more of those.
I'm not seeing any on here.
If I have, I'm an idiot and you can smack me in the face. Okay.
Can I do it?
Yes.
Someone said, too bad we ignored the plasma cutter subject. We didn't ignore it. It just takes us a little while to get to it.
Oh. Yeah. Here's another super chat.
Put your glasses back
I
on.
have to put the glasses on. It's my eyes went through iPause. If you happen to come through Asheville, Waynesville, North Carolina area and need a place to stop for the night, let me know. Thank you, Nate. I don't think we go through that area though. I think we'll be coming from Nashville
Mom told
to
that person to chill out. We're getting to all the comments we can.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Don't screw around in the comments. Mom's reading them.
she'll knock you out.
One of the few people I'm afraid of as an adult. Someone is asking what transmission is in a Wonder Lodge with an 8V92.
I have no idea it's an automatic. I don't know what
It's
it
an
is.
Allison.
Yeah.
I don't know which one though. The last one I worked on I think was a 6-speed Allison. But
Yeah, they're T-drives, so they have a lot more options in them, and Bluebird usually does stuff right, so it's usually a pretty robust, whatever it is, it's a good transmission.
someone said it was 30 degrees last night in Florida.
Yep. That's still way warmer than here.
Yeah.
So I think they're bragging.
God. I got frostbite the other night. Someone wants to know how old you are. He doesn't know. He knows what year he was born.
I was born in 1972. If you would like to do the math on that, August. I think I'm 47.
You think?
That shit changes every year. It's
I
hard
know.
to
I
keep
stopped
track of.
counting. When I hit 21, I'm like, I don't care anymore. What model bus are you going to work on in California, or is it just a vacation? It's going to be work.
No, yeah, I'm working on buses. many buses.
We don't take vacations here.
Yeah.
That's when I come home.
I think one of them is a 4106, another one's an MCI, maybe a 9. I honestly, I just kind of look at locations and I don't pay a lot of attention to what work it is until it's time to go. Like I know ahead of time when I'm getting them on the schedule, but I haven't even looked that far ahead. I'm more focused on what we've got right now and just know that I'll eventually be out there. And if you weren't here from the beginning, just a reminder, we're doing the first hour of this chat on my channel, and then the second hour we're going to do over on Tyler's Indiana Diesel. So we'll continue the chat after an hour over there. So you might want to stop asking questions at this point because there's no possible way that we're going to get to these in the first hour, and they will disappear from us when we go over there.
Okay, I'm going here for a minute. I gotta find some questions. I'm trying to go through ones we don't already have answered.
Okay.
Someone wants to know how often they need to change their muffler bearings. Every 1,000 miles, and I charge 10 grand.
I only do it when they squeak.
Oh, I $10,000 every 1,000 miles. I got bills to pay. There's a lot
Of course, I do them anytime the customer asks. I do them too. Yeah.
I'm not seeing much in capital here. If you guys are posting a question, please post it in all caps. When I'm scrolling, it makes it a lot easier to determine what's a question you're asking us versus just people talking in the comment section. So I'm gonna grab some stuff that I do see here as questions. What kind of PSI can you develop at the liner of boost? I'm assuming they're meaning with a supercharger. That's the standard motor non-turbo. What are they, like 4 to 5 PSI in the box?
It's not much over atmospheric pressure in the two-stroke. It gives it in millibars. It's not. The book doesn't give you an actual PSI rating like that. The supercharger is not. It's not a supercharger in this instance whatsoever. So when people even call it that, that's kind of the incorrect term. It is just a blower. It's just moving air. Without it, it would not run. So it's not a lot, if that's what they're asking. So it doesn't give you any advantage. You can get some where you can have a gear-driven, slightly higher gear ratio in it. I think they used them in some of the mountain areas and stuff like that. I've read that. I've not actually ever seen one that has any different gear ratio on them.
So here's a question that I have about that too. How much boost can you put through one of those with turbo setup? What's kind of the limit of those things before they start putting rods into low Earth orbits?
That I don't know either. Joe would probably be a good guy to know that because he's definitely pushed the limits on what he's doing with his drag racer 12V71.
Can you start an R&D to figure it out?
Yeah, the Cornfield Corvette. If you haven't searched for that on YouTube, you'll find some pictures of it and stuff like that. So Joe knows how to blow heads off and that kind of stuff and blow everything apart with them. So he knows pretty well what you can get away with on it. For one, if you're going to a lot of boost, you have to go with a bypass blower. Just otherwise you're putting too much pressure on the blower lobes and everything themselves too, and it's easier to move that air through there. So, but I'm planning on just doing a more of a smoke turbo on mine. So a lower boost setting, not going to do a bypass blower, and really just not a huge horsepower improvement, but it's going to give me a huge altitude performance improvement. I'm really happy with the way the bus is running right now, but when I get to altitude, I am not at all.
I still think that we need to do a pulling tractor setup with the Detroit, and we can use that as my R&D to figure out how much boost I can shove through it.
When the YouTube channel gets to like 500,000 subscribers and we get money rolling in like that, then maybe we can play around with doing something like that.
See, there's your guys' incentive. The more subscribers, the quicker I get to build a pulling tractor. Can we teach you how to do wheelies in a tractor?
Yeah, I think 500,000 subscribers is a long way away, so.
All right, someone says the exhaust sounds great now.
It does. I got 2 super chats.
Someone here says the PSI never changes, never more than 1.5.
Okay, thank you. There's 2 super chats on here. One is Brian. Thank you for the great content. Everyone sub his Patreon. Yeah, my Patreon account. That Patreon it helps us do a lot of things for this channel. It's got us our new camera, our Wi-Fi booster, all kinds of stuff like that. We're getting ready to, or actually talking to today a lithium-ion battery company about maybe getting some lithium-ion batteries in the bus. That'll be nice too. If we can get some Patreon, use some of the Patreon money for that too. And then Eric Gorder1 sent us another super chat there. So thanks for the great videos. Thank you for the super chat. We appreciate that too. Did I acknowledge Brian was the one who said?
You already did that one.
Okay, I didn't know if I said his name.
Okay.
I wanted to make sure I did that.
Should we go back to read the same one again?
No, I have short-term memory, but not that short. Although if I said his name, I just don't remember if I did it.
Someone asked if you were familiar with the Pacific Bus Museum in the San Francisco Bay Area. Have you been there?
I've not been there, but I am familiar with them, and I know several guys who help out there and have donated buses and all kinds, and their time to work there and all that kind of stuff. It's a cool place.
What do you think of the sound after a long drive on your bus?
Like, is the engine noise bothering me? Like, you think my ears are buzzing when I get off kind of thing? Is that what they're asking?
I don't know.
It's nothing.
It's quieter than everything I own except one.
It's super quiet in there. I think the camera picks it up a little bit more.
Oh, if I listen to the camera back from my truck, if my sub is on, the drone in my truck sounds terrible, but it's not bad in person. The camera makes my truck sound so much worse than it is.
Yeah, you don't even hear the engine. Matter of fact, the wind noise is way louder in my bus than the engine noise.
I'm trying to find stuff in all caps here.
I hope everybody's playing nice with Kelly on there. Are they? I haven't really seen that.
I'm seeing a few things, but if they're not, they're going to be in for a really bad time.
Thank you, Kelly, for helping out.
Yeah.
I love you.
Hi, I didn't come up and say hi to you before I got here. I'm here. Someone's telling Mom to tell me to be careful on my four-wheeler. I'm incredibly careful. I don't let the wheelies go past like 60, 70 degrees.
Hey, what are we doing tomorrow?
Oh, yeah. So I'm bringing the blaster over tomorrow and we're going to teach Dad to do wheelies. Don't tell Mom.
She's watching.
That'll be a good time. I'll teach him how to do them. Rule 1, if it feels like it's going to go over backwards, stop.
Okay.
Stop trying to do a wheelie.
But doesn't the natural falling backwards give it more throttle?
I don't have a twist, I have a thumb throttle.
Oh, okay. That's easier then.
You're not going to whiskey throttle it on its back. Someone wants to know what day in August your birthday is.
Second.
You had to think about that for a minute. Someone said, yes, you're 47 years old.
For now.
What is the injector height setting for a 9G75 and a 6V92?
I don't know all those settings. It's in the book. Very easily listed in the book.
The only two settings I know are 1460 and 1484.
Yeah. I don't. It depends on. Just refer to the book.
Yeah.
All of those. There's so many different injectors and timing settings, and it depends on if it's advanced timing or
And,
standard.
I mean, your
timing.
bus doesn't even run a timing set or a timing number that's listed. Yours is.
Joe gave me a number that is not listed in any book, and that bus runs better than any bus I've ever.
Closely guarded performance secret.
That's correct.
It's nice though, because if I get one, we're definitely doing that same thing. Someone in the comments reminded people to please post their question in all caps. If you had space for a T-drive system, what would you swap from your V-drive?
Well, it depends on how much space I had, because if I move the axle forward about 3 feet, let's make it 4 feet, then I could go 12V71.
You're still thinking small trans though. See, I'm going the other way. I would leave the motor the same, but I would go for more gear. If I could get like an Eaton Fuller 18 speed, I'd rather go with more gear ratios, not necessarily needing more power. The power is there. A 12 would be awesome though.
Oh, super chat. Dang it.
Oh no.
Jennifer Belcher, this is Phil. Love to come and help in South Atlanta or Mississippi. Oh, so Phil's using his wife's account is what it looks like. South Alabama or Mississippi. Yeah, I'll let you know when we're there. I usually post where I'm going to be and where I'm at kind of thing, and volunteers are welcome. I think they watch me take my glasses off and then they do a super chat. David Beller, MD, $2 super chat. Thank you. He didn't ask any questions though, but thank you. I appreciate that.
Glenn's Speed Shop. First off, that name has me interested. Do you have videos posted? Because I'm into speed shop stuff. I used to build some engines and transmissions for circle track stuff. I just bought a 4106 with Jake brakes. I have not tried to use it. I don't know how it should work.
All right, this is getting too complicated for me. Where are you at?
Top of the list, right there.
41.6 with Jake brakes. Have not tried to use it. I don't know how or should it work. So if, I mean, you flip the switch and see if they work. So they won't work at idle. So you got to get the RPM. Well, they should not work at idle. You don't want to have them on and have it kill your engine when you're coming up to a stop. It won't work in neutral. So, I mean, you got to just try it while you're driving down the road, and hopefully all those interlocks are there.
You can always try with your power probe at the solenoid with it off.
That is
See if it
correct.
will actuate at least.
Well, first thing I do is make sure the switch is sending electric to the solenoid. There's probably a buffer switch that has to go through. You're not going to get a signal through that buffer switch if it's not in the correct position. I don't recommend you take the cover off the governor if you don't understand how to do that. So in that case, just see if it works, and then you could actually test the individual jakes with a power probe, adding 12 volt. If it's 12 volt system, 21.6 should be 12 volt.
They made 24 volt power probes too.
Yeah, but well, mine does 24 volt. Just I hooked it up to a 24 volt battery before.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It'll still work on 24.
Yeah, and just make sure that it's a Jake brake. Is that somebody just said it was an exhaust brake? It's a Jake brake. Yeah. It's a compression brake, not an exhaust brake.
No, exhaust brakes are pretty impressive though.
I don't think you can do them on a two-stroke though, can you?
Yeah, I don't see why not. You're just literally closing off exhaust flow with a valve usually after the turbo.
I've never seen anybody put them on there, so I'm assuming.
I don't see why it wouldn't work.
Okay. Because when the exhaust valves are open, you're open to the blower, so there's nothing hitting the back end of it. There's no building that pressure. The blower is pushing the air through there, so you're only going up against that air. That's why I think it doesn't, but that's just me.
I don't know. We can try it.
James Hayden, two things. What is a low block? And when showing Phil's office, I noticed a badge of an answer flexible. Was that bus built in Australia? Yes, that's the Australian flexible. The low block, it was just one of the first
There's
versions.
another one of those. I think that's up more.
I think I got that one right.
Go back up and check. 'Cause I think you missed another one.
I'm sorry. Oh, I did. From Rich Wintich. Thanks for the inspiration and information. Okay, back to the other one, the low block. It was an earlier version of it. The intake liner ports are smaller. It used a stamped steel head gasket instead of the rubber O-rings.
Not a full head gasket though.
Mostly, yeah, that's correct.
Still weird.
Okay, so just a reminder again, the first hour of this chat we're doing here on my channel, and then we're going to continue this chat for hour number 2 over on Tyler's Indiana Diesel channel. So if you're not a subscriber to it, and you're going to want to look for us in a few minutes over there on Indiana Diesel, while we take like a 5-minute intermission to probably
I was
get
going to
over it once we
suggest
do it.
that. I'm going to run out of water here in a minute.
Yeah, and again, you can take a drink.
I have been. It doesn't help. Luckily, I decided to get sick when I was at home and didn't have anything to do for a week. It was great. Someone wants to know how the radiator's holding up on your bus.
My radiator is doing good. The cardboard on it didn't really make much of an effect.
I need to do that to my truck.
Yeah. William Oswald, $2 super chat for moms, aka Kelly Swear Jar. She does pretty good, but don't make her mad.
Someone in all caps that I better wear a helmet.
Me too. I'll wear a helmet. And if my wife has anything to say, I'll have knee pads, elbow pads,
Shoulder pads.
shoulder pads, snowsuit,
Chest plate. Get you some wrist guards.
training wheel.
I'm not building a wheelie bar for it tomorrow.
I'll basically look like the little kid from Christmas Story.
It'll be fine. You're not going that fast. It only does like 55. What about the Detroit 318?
I like that. I mean, that's just a 8V71. 318 is the stock horsepower for that engine.
What is the snap-on you use for measurements on the injectors or the injection pump or the injection height settings?
I don't remember the exact. I mean, that's what it is. It's a Detroit diesel injector height tool or something.
Yeah.
So I don't remember what the number
It's
is.
like MT or something like that.
Yeah.
You can find them on eBay from time to time.
They don't make them anymore.
Yeah, you have to find them secondhand.
I think I paid like $150 for mine used, kind of thing. So, yeah, I don't know. It's really good, but it doesn't work on everything. You can't use it if it's got Jake brakes. It doesn't fit on there. And some of the older style
And you always still need your
rockers,
pins.
it doesn't fit on there. And you must always use a pin first because you can you can dial over or the gauge.
If it's more than one full revolution off in height, you'll think you're setting it right and you're way off. Still.
Yeah, yeah.
You
So
always wanna
if
get
you
in
have the
ballpark
deck
with
surface
pin.
on the block, taken down, and then you try to put it back. I learned that. I didn't start the engine that way, but we tried to use that tool, and I said, I should probably check just to make sure. And I put the pin on there, and it was a whole revolution off of the thing. So I was like, oh wow. I realized quickly that you cannot do that. So
Like when we're setting up a new head, we always just set all of them with the pin first to ballpark them, and then when we go through to set the valves, we'll set it with the dial gauge.
yeah.
It's more of a fine adjustment. But the pins also work great. They still make those. You can get those if you can't find one of the dial gauges. They'll get you by just as fine until you can get a hold of one. But you just kind of have to watch eBay and stuff like that, or try to find somebody who's retiring and is not going to need it anymore, and hope that you can find it from them before their kids throw it away, not knowing what it is.
Yeah.
That's a lot. A lot of that Detroit stuff, it gets hard to find because they haven't made it in years.
I found mine on Craigslist, and then I had to convince a guy on Craigslist to ship it to me, which was not very easy because he wasn't in my area. So I found it like a couple states away, and I'm like, dude, please, I'm a real person. This isn't a scam. I know that you get tons of scams. If you ever list anything on Craigslist, I'll have my associate pick it up or whatever. That doesn't work. So, but I actually got the guy to do it.
Someone.
While you're doing that, another super chat.
Okay.
Ice Hunter, what upgrades are you planning to do to Lynnie? I know about the turbo. What about Jake brakes, power steering, etc.? Yeah, we've talked about all of that many, many times, but since you're super chat, I'm happy to answer that for you. Jake brakes, absolutely. I'm waiting for them to show up. A viewer has them. He's sending them to me. I was hoping they would be here when I got home, and I got a bunch of boxes here, but that is not in those yet. Yes, we're doing power steering. We're probably going to try to do it on this next trip when Tyler and I go out. We're going to try to go to Gene Russell's and get that done. And then I'm going to upgrade to the lithium batteries, and we're going to add more solar to the bus, some creature comforts to the inside, stuff that Kelly wants done, butcher block countertop, probably do some more insulating in the bus when I do that. Generator, at some point I'm going to upgrade to I want to get a diesel generator so I can get rid of the gas on there, and that'll free up another huge section of a bay for me, where that gas tank, I have like a 30 gallon gas tank in there right now that I don't have to have.
Off topic question here about the butcher block.
Yes.
Have you seen my router? I lost it. I haven't seen it for over like a year and a half. I assume it's here somewhere.
No.
If you see a DeWalt router, it's mine.
I have
It didn't make it to my house when I moved.
Yeah, I have a router here.
I just don't know what I did with it. What's the status of Lenny's running dog signs?
That's kind of in limbo right now. I need to find somebody who prints vinyl graphics for me. And then I've got the dogs printed out on the aluminum, and I want to get the vinyl printed and then transfer the vinyl to the aluminum. Kelly has made her way down here.
I'm going to say this will probably be the last question.
She's shaking her finger at me. What did I do wrong?
It's after 9.
Oh, it's after 9.
Yeah, no, I was going to go one last question here. Someone wants to know, Ohio bus, more on it. We will be back on that bus next week.
Yes, Monday. Monday we'll be out there, and hopefully Tuesday we'll be driving it around. That's the plan for Sage, hopefully. Let's hope everything goes right. So if you didn't join us in the beginning, the first hour of this chat we're going to do here on my channel, and the second hour of the chat we're going to go over to Tyler's channel to do it. So Indiana Diesel is the name of his YouTube channel. If you don't subscribe to it, I suggest that you do, especially because it's going to make it a lot easier to find him here in about 5 minutes when we switch over to there. So we're going to end this chat here, and then we will pick up over on the Indiana Diesel channel.
Yes.
You should be able to find that very easily.
I put a link.
Okay, Kelly put a link, so that should make life easy for everyone. So, and then again, over there, same thing, questions. If you post your questions in all caps, they will stand out a lot I'll be the one reading, and he'll do most of the talking over there. So, we'll see how that goes. So we're gonna end this now, and we're gonna pick up in about less than 5 minutes over on Indiana Diesel. Got it?